Hi students, welcome to the tutorial regarding the main campus residence hall housing registration process for next year. At the bottom of the screen, you will see our email address for our office, which is housing@longwood.edu, and our phone number, which is 434-395-2080. If you have any questions after viewing this presentation, please feel free to reach out to our office. Whether you want to email us or call us is fine, whichever you prefer, and we'd be glad to answer any questions that you might have. So to start off, just wanted to talk about some new housing options for next year. During the registration process, we won't have a full occupancy requirement to register. What this means is, let's say you're a student that doesn't have a specific roommate that you want to sign up with, but you want to live in a double room in a residence hall. So you'll be able to sign up for that double room without a roommate, and then that other space in that room will be available for other students to sign up for. If you have a specific roommate that you want to live with, you'll be able to do that as well, and I'll explain how that works. But just wanted to let you know that there isn't a full occupancy requirement to register for a room. We will have single rooms available to students in Cox Hall. These 2-bedroom suites will house one student in each room. They will still have the 2 sets of furniture in the room, but each student will have their own bedroom and then share the bathroom within the suite. And then there will also be double rooms available during the housing registration process in all of our residence halls. When will the registration process take place? So if you're interested in signing up for a residence hall room, you will register between March 15th and March 17th. I will go over the detailed timeline in a few minutes, so you'll know exactly which day you should log in and register. If you're planning on signing up with a specific roommate, I will explain how you create roommate groups and how you accept membership in those groups prior to your registration dates. As I mentioned earlier, single and double rooms will be available during the registration process. We do have a list on our website of where the upperclassmen floors will be available, because we also have floors that are just reserved for new freshmen. So the floors for new freshmen won't be available to upperclassmen students during the registration process. So if you want to take a look at that list, you can see where the locations will be that will be available for students. Roommate groups will register for a room, so therefore roommate groups should not exceed 2 members. So what this means is when you're signing up for housing, you're not signing up for an entire suite, you're signing up for a room within the suite. So if there are 4 of you that want to live in the same suite together, what that would mean is you would form 2 separate roommate groups. So the 2 individuals that want to live in one room together would form their group. The individuals that want to live in the other room would form their group. Then what you would do is just coordinate with one another as far as where you ended up signing up for, so that the other group can sign up into that same suite. And as I mentioned before, a single resident can sign up for a double occupancy room if they would like to. They can also sign up for a single room if they would like to. Housing registration will be conducted each day from 10 to 4 in the Student Housing Gateway. Our female students will register from 10 to 1, and male students will register from 1 to 4. We split this up just to limit the amount of traffic in the Student Housing Gateway so that it performs at an optimal speed for our students. Please know that female and male students are not competing for the same spaces. Since these are suite-style rooms in the residence halls, we predetermine which rooms are going to be female and which rooms were going to be male prior to housing registration. So there is no advantage to female students registering in the morning and male students registering in the afternoon because they are not going to be signing up for the same spaces. As I mentioned before, each roommate group will select one of the roommates to register both of you for the assignment. And so the designated roommate will just want to make sure that the roommate who was invited to the group has accepted membership in the group, and I'll go over that roommate group form in a few minutes to make sure you know how to do that. And then, as I mentioned before, if you're a solo resident who doesn't have a roommate that wants to sign up for a double room, you can sign up on your designated registration day without having that roommate. If you don't have a roommate, you don't need to fill out the roommate group form. Only individuals that have a specific roommate that they want to have live with them need to do the roommate group form in advance. So this is the detailed timeline for registration. So the first day of main campus registration is on March 15th. Students who have 40 to 55 completed credits at the end of the spring semester, this will be their day to register for housing. Okay, so for example, if me and my roommate are going to live together next year, and I happen to have 45 credits, but my roommate only has 30 completed credits, that's okay. This will still be our day to sign up because I have 45 credits. And so I fall within this credit range. So what I would need to do is I would need to be the designated roommate. I would need to be the person logging in, but I can sign us both up on this day. That's how that works. And you can check your completed credit total at any time in the Student Housing Gateway. There's a check completed credit button. You can click on that and the system will let you know how many completed credits you have. And then you and your roommate can talk about that to determine who would be the best person to serve as your designated roommate and complete the registration for both of you. As I mentioned before, you don't have to have full occupancy to sign up for a double room. So if you are a solo resident, you can sign up on your designated credit day. And if you're interested in a single room, you can sign up for that. If you're interested in a double room, you can sign up for that as well. Only continuing residential students will participate in the process. What that means is you just have to be a student that is a residential student right now. If you have a friend that's currently commuting but would like to live on campus next year, they can absolutely do that. They just need to email our office so that we're aware and we can make them eligible to participate in the registration process. The second day of the process is our second sophomore day, which is anybody with 39 or less completed credits. They will register on March 16th from 10 to 4. Female students will register in the morning from 10 to 1. Male students will register in the afternoon from 1 to 4. This is the day whoever the designated roommate is that's going to register themselves and roommate, or if they're just a solo resident themselves, to housing. That you would have 39 or less completed credits at the end of the spring semester. Okay, so same things as I talked about before. You don't have to have full occupancy to sign up for a double room. If you do have a roommate, then you both will sign up together on this day through the use of that roommate group form prior to the registration date. The last day of the main campus registration process will be on March 17th. From 10 to 4, juniors and seniors will register on this day. So anybody with 56 or more completed credits at the end of the spring semester, this will be your day to register for housing. As I mentioned before, you can register without full occupancy. So if you're a solo resident who doesn't have a roommate, you can either sign up for a single room or you can sign up for a double room during this registration process. Just some helpful reminders and tips. As I mentioned earlier, there will be double and single room accommodations available during the registration process. Cox Hall will be the hall that will provide single room accommodations to students. So if you're looking for a single room, you're going to want to sign up in Cox Hall. Those rooms will be suited, so you would share the bathroom with another student within the suite. The housing rates for next year are published on our website. So there is a slight difference in cost based upon the residence hall that you're selecting, or if you're selecting a double or a single room. So we always recommend that students discuss those rates with their family or financial provider prior to registration. Our meal plan rates are also available on our website as well. We always recommend that students take a look at our housing terms and conditions, which are on our website. Students can access the Student Housing Gateway directly at the link displayed there. That link has also been emailed to students several times. It's available underneath the Lancer dashboard on the main Longwood website. That link is also available on the housing website, the Residential and Commuter Life website. Always suggest to students to have a backup plan. If for some reason when you go to register, the building that you wanted to sign up for, if all the space is filled in that building, what is the next building your group wants to sign up for? Most students will get, their first choice, but there is the possibility that certain areas could fill by the time you go to register. So it's always good to talk to your roommate about where you would want to sign up next. Make sure you enable pop-ups in your web browser. The Student Housing Gateway does use pop-ups. If you've logged into the Student Housing Gateway previously on your device, then you've already enabled pop-ups. If for some reason this is the first time on this device, what will end up happening is a little message will show up in the right-hand corner of your web browser that will say pop-up locked. Just click on that message and say enable pop-ups, and then it'll be fine. After each registration date, the RCO office will post an announcement on the main page of our website, letting students know how many rooms remain for the next day of registration in each hall. So what we will do is once we finish our first sophomore registration day, we will post on our website how many double rooms and how many single rooms remain in each community. So for example, if you were interested in Johns Hall, it would let you know this is how many rooms are left in Johns Hall going into the next day. Same thing, like Register Hall, we would list that. Cox Hall, we would list that. That just gives you an idea going into the next day. How many rooms are left? So what's the likelihood we're going to get our first choice? We will do the same thing after the second sophomore registration date, and we will do the same thing going into the senior registration day. So that update is typically posted to our website between 5 and 6 p.m. So if you were to check at around 6 p.m. or later, you would definitely see the announcement and know how many rooms are remaining going into the next day. Other thing that's really important is make sure your roommate has accepted membership in your group prior to your registration day so you don't have any issues signing up together for a room. If you're a student that requires a health or disability-related housing accommodation, students must apply for those accommodations each year. The deadline to apply is February 19th. So, for example, if last year you submitted a health needs or disability-related accommodation, you will need to submit that paperwork again for this year to receive that same type of accommodation. So if you have any questions about that, reach out to our office or reach out to the Disability Resources Office regarding that. So next what I'm going to do is go over what the Student Housing Gateway is going to look like when it comes time to register. First, I'm going to show you what the roommate group form is like and explain that. And then I'm also going to show you what that self-assignment process is going to look like when you're choosing where you're going to live next year. This screen should look very familiar. This is the login screen for the Student Housing Gateway where you would log in with your LancerNet ID and password. When you get to the welcome screen, you'll see it has your name and it would have your RMS ID number. And then there's some buttons that are currently available in the Housing Gateway. So the roommate group form is the button that you're going to use to create your roommate group. You can check your completed credits currently in the Student Housing Gateway. So if you want to see how many completed credits you have, you can go ahead and click on that button. When we get to the dates of the main campus registration process in March, there will be an additional button there for main campus housing registration, which students could click on to complete the registration process. So this is the roommate group form. So as I discussed earlier, between you and your roommate, one of you is going to initiate this roommate group. Okay. So when you click on the roommate group form, you're going to see these instructions on the screen. But at the bottom of the screen, there's this green Create Group button. So you're going to click on that button to create your group. When you click on that, you will then see that your name will be listed as the leader. By default, whoever's initiating the roommate group, their status is leader. Okay. It doesn't mean that they have to be the designated roommate that's going to sign you up on your registration day. Anybody who's a member of the group can do that. It's just the way that the system identifies who initiated the group. So once you're ready to invite your roommate to your group, you're going to click on that green invite button. What is going to happen then is a search box is going to come up. You're going to then type the RMS ID number of your roommate in that box. So as I mentioned earlier, when you log into the Student Housing Gateway on the welcome screen, it says your name, and underneath your name it says RMS ID, and there's a number listed. So if you're the person filling out this roommate group form, you're going to simply ask your desired roommate to provide you with their RMS-ID number. You will then type that number into this box and you will click the search button. Once you've searched for them, their name will show up underneath the found. Then what you will do is you will click on that green select button to add them to the roommate group. Once you've done that, they will show up listed underneath your name and their status will be invited. That simply means that they've been invited to the roommate group. Once they accept membership in the group, their status will change to member. Okay? So what's going to happen is once you've added them to your roommate group, you are going to click the finish button at the bottom of the screen. And that will then send the student the email letting them know that they have been invited to the roommate group. What that student will then do is they will log into the Student Housing Gateway. They will click on the roommate group form. And when they get into the form, it will show their name listed that they were invited. And there'll be an option next to their name to either hit the button to accept membership in the group or to hit the button to decline membership in the group. And then once the student has done that, they will click on that button and then they will hit the finish button at the bottom of the screen. Then the system will send emails to anybody who's a member of the group, you and your roommate, to let you know whether that student has accepted or rejected membership in the group. So you will receive communication letting you know. You can also, prior to your registration day, you could log back into the Housing Gateway and take a look at this roommate group form, and you can verify and check underneath the status if your roommate has accepted membership in the group. Okay, so that way you have that all squared away before your registration date. Next, what I want to do is show you what the main campus registration process will look like for the designated roommate who is going to sign up both of you for a space. Okay, so when you first log into the form, it's just going to be telling you that you're signing up for both fall and spring semester. It will then show your roommate group members. Okay, so on this screen at the bottom of the screen, there's roommate group members. So the person that you invited to join your group, if they accepted membership in your group, their name will be listed there. Okay, your name won't be listed there because you're the one running the form. Just the people that are going to be your roommates will be listed below. Okay, if you believe you invited somebody to your roommate group and they're not showing up there, it's likely because they haven't accepted the membership in the group. So that's when you'll want to call them and ask them to go ahead and accept membership in the group. Okay. So the next thing you're going to do is if you see your roommate's name listed there, you're going to click on the next step button. Now what you're going to do is you're actually going to get to pick the room that you and your roommate are going to live in. So the residence halls will be listed there on the left-hand side of the screen. And so what you're going to do is you're going to click on the residence hall where you would like to sign up for. And then what will happen is on the right-hand side of the screen, all of the available rooms in that building are going to show up for you. Once you know the space that you want to sign up for, what you're going to do, there's going to be a yellow lock icon there. So what that is once you decided on the space that you want to sign up for, you can go ahead and click on that yellow lock icon. And it will then click the next step button at the bottom of the screen, and then you will be able to sign up for that space. What the lock icon is doing is once you've clicked on it, it is taking that room off of the available list so that nobody else can sign up for it while you're completing the registration process. Kind of like Ticketmaster when it'll reserve it for you. So once you click on next step, you're going to see a drop down here underneath bed space. So the bed spaces are really a holder. Obviously, if it's a double room, you guys are signing up for the same room, but there's always an A and a B bed space. So what you're going to do here is underneath the drop downs, you're going to just put each of you into a bed space. If you're signing up solo by yourself, you're just going to put yourself into a bed space. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and do that. If you get to this screen and you're like, oops, I didn't mean to pick that room, I wanted a different one, you don't have to start all over again. You can simply click on the release lock button and it'll take you back to the list to pick a new room. But if you are sure you've picked the correct room that you want to sign up for, you would just go ahead and use those drop downs to place you and your roommate in a space. Then the last thing that you'll do is click the next step button and you'll be finished registering for the room. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And you're going to get a confirmation message telling you that you have signed up. Each group member, so you and your roommate, will receive a confirmation email from the Student Housing Gateway letting you know that you have registered for housing, where you've been assigned. There will also be instructions in that email on how to sign up for your meal plan for next year. So you'll click on the link in that email and it will take you to the site to go ahead and sign up for your meal plan. So each student will individually sign up for their meal plan as part of this process. If you have any additional questions about the housing registration process, feel free to email us at housing@longwood.edu or call us at 434-395-2080. Thank you, and I hope this tutorial was very helpful for you.